Yes, people, what is going on? We are back with the Sports Centre, and this week the main focus has been on one club, one man in particular, and that's Man United. And now look, being a Liverpool fan, I'm not going to, tell you what, even being a rival fan, there'll be Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, there'll be fans all over the country that aren't, let's be right, let's tell the truth. Let's have a trust circle. Everyone's happy with Man United's demise, apart from Man United fans, right? Yeah? Let me know in the comments below. I can't see anyone not being. But I want to go on a bit of a history lesson with you guys now, because Man United, we all know, they're miles off where they need to be. But I think some of the fans feel like they're entitled to stuff. And what I mean by that is, and I'm speaking from experience here, given a club with rich history, such as Liverpool, when I first started supporting Liverpool in the early 90s, Liverpool basically were at the peak of their powers and they were on the decline. Given that I was obviously probably only 6-7 year old at the time, I didn't understand Liverpool's history. As you get older, you start to kind of talk to older fans. You listen to ex-players and all this kind of. You learn the history. You kind of grow with the club. You become part of it ultimately. You become invested in the club and the club's history. But we used to grasp onto that. We used to talk about our 18 titles all the time. But Man United was slowly under Fergie creeping up behind us, winning title after title after title. So ultimately, they knocked us off our perch. They succeeded how many titles we'd got. We was this team that was rich in history. We could brag about it, and we did. We held on to it, and quite wrongly, really. And it took for Jurgen Klopp to come in to basically say, that was then. This is now. We need to go forward. We're not thinking about going backwards. Yes, it's great that we've got that history, but we need to go that way now. And I feel this is in exactly the same position as what Man United fans are in. And a lot of them are still deluded and feel like they're entitled to be this team that are competing for titles. They're nowhere fucking near. They're miles off it. I'm telling you now, I made a prediction. And look, I'm kind of tongue-in-cheek. But at the same time, I'm being deadly serious. I think Man United are going to potentially... I think they could go down. Because they are miles. I mean, miles. The word in terms of competing for top honours should not even be on the lips. Shouldn't even be in the minds of any Man United fans. That's how far away you are. And I can say this because I've been there. I've been that fan that every single year I used to kind of think, it's going to be our year this year. We made a couple of good signs, it's going to be our year. Then we'd end up like 6th, 7th, scrapping to get into a top 4. Maybe every now and again we'd finish 2nd, we'd have a bit of hope. But ultimately, it's well documented. Liverpool went 30 years without a title. Man United are well on the way there. Well on the way there. I'll be flabbergasted if Man United get anywhere near a title in the next 10 years. They're miles off it. They're going that way rather than that way. And as much as Ruben Amorim is a bit of a laughingstock at the moment, I think he's, I said in my last video, go check it out, the one that I dropped earlier this week. I think he's a complete fraud. But what I want to do, talk about Man United fans, is let's rewind, not so much in terms of 13 years ago now, let's just rewind 2 weeks ago when you played Arsenal at home. Played all right. You played better than what you did last season, which, let's be fair, isn't hard. But you were all buzzing. You all left Old Trafford like, oh, this is all right. This is better. I can get on board with that. And then you went to Fulham. You were shit. You went to Grimsby. Lost. And now all of a sudden, you've gone from 2 weeks ago saying that it's all right, this is that, to again, this formation don't work, this formation don't work. And I had this to say today, and it kind of wound me up a little bit, but in a way I was quite happy because it made me feel good that Troy Deeney on TalkSport talked about this. It's like, where's all the Man United fans 2 weeks ago that were saying that, you know, you were decent and you're gonna be doing this, you're gonna be doing this because you got a 1-0 loss at home to Arsenal. You know, you lost the game, by the way, guys. You lost. You didn't draw. You didn't win. You lost the game. But now all of a sudden, couple more poor results, especially to the Grimsby, and the system doesn't work again. But it worked a couple of weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? Where's the consistency in what you're saying? There isn't none. And yes, the manager, I believe, is a fraud. That's the only word I think you can use for this guy. He's a complete fraud. He's come out in a press conference today. The guy's far too emotionally invested, and sometimes that's a good thing, but you've got to channel it. And do you know why I say this? Because I used to be very much like that, and I have to do this with work pretty much every day. When something doesn't go wrong or anything like that, you take it personally, you get emotionally invested. And Amorim's come out today and he said about, like, some days he hates his players, some days he wants to quit, some days he wants to be there 20 years. It's like, if you were employing this guy and he's saying this in front of the whole world, you'd be like, I don't know, me personally, if I were his boss, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, just shut up now, shut up, stop talking, stop fucking talking right now. It seems as though like there's nothing going on up here and it just all comes out here. I don't know, the job's too big for him in my opinion. You've still got the ongoing problem off the field, you know, what the fuck is going on with Radcliffe and Ineos and all this and the Glazers, like that's just a mess. It's just a complete mess. And whether it's true or not that Dan Ashworth got sacked because he wanted Gareth Southgate and Jim Radcliffe wanted Ruben Amorim. I've heard that this week. I didn't know that. Man United fans, let us know in the comments. Is that true? And looking back now, would you take Southgate? Would you have Southgate in now? Not so much long term, but someone to steady the ship. And look at what he did with England. And this moves me on nicely, really. This acts as a good conduit into what else I want to talk about. The players. The group of players, the ethos at Man United seems fucking rotten. It seems rotten. You see the likes of Marcus Rashford, and don't get me wrong, he's a fucking great player. Got no respect. No respect. He's gone to Barcelona. He's done this interview with Gary Lineker and Mika Richards. Turns up looking like a fucking road man. I mean, look. Yeah, I know I'm wearing a vest and that now, but this guy... I'm not a fucking professional footballer. You know, I'm not one that's trying to push for a move to Barcelona, and it wasn't... I wouldn't say it was slagged off, Man U, but they're still his employer. And some of the things that he was saying, you think... You can have that opinion, but you shouldn't be putting that public because these guys, you've still got to potentially go back to Man United. And it just seems mad to me. And this is what I think Ruben Amorim is trying to do, but he's obviously struggling. He's trying to install morals back into this club, and by getting rid of certain players like Rashford, like Garnacho, amongst others, he's trying to tighten the reins, but whilst trying to do that, you've got to tighten up your back line. You've got to make sure that you're hard to beat on the field, because ultimately, if you're not performing on the field, you're going to get judged on that. And I quite respect him for what he's trying to do behind the scenes in terms of the players. I really, really do. I get what he's trying to do. And Erik ten Hag tried to do that in a way. You all remember the situation with Ronaldo. These managers that are coming in, they're trying to do it, but because the nucleus of the club in the dressing room it's just fucking bad. It's rotten. You can just see it. You know, you can see it with some of the play. That Garnacho in the summer wearing a fucking Villa shirt. What a prick. And Man U are still paying. There's no respect. That's the best word that I can describe it as. There's no respect. And I don't think Amorim will withstand the test of time. I really, really don't. But I think, going back to Gareth Southgate, someone like that is needed, because you remember the England setup. We all know about the bloody, the rumours about the Chelsea table, the Man United table, the Liverpool table and all that, players not setting, because ultimately there was drilled that this is a fucking club game, F your country. Gareth Southgate did wonders with that, and you see how the England players are wanting to actually play for England now. You know, they're very united, almost too friendly, really. You know, when you see them speaking to each other when they play for other clubs and stuff like that, all talking behind them. But these guys are all mates. Gareth Southgate made an environment where players can bond and, you know, wanna play for each other, wanna get together, wanna play for the country. And that's what Man United need. They need someone to steady the ship. And I just don't think that Amorim is that guy. Not saying that Southgate is, but the job that he did at England is very, very similar to the job that needs doing at Man United. Very, very similar. But I'm sure until that day comes, all us non-Man United fans will kind of still find humour on Man United's downfall. But Man United fans in particular, if you're watching this video, let me know, do you agree with what I'm saying, or do you think I'm just talking complete bullshit? Either way, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Catch you in a bit.